Fox Sports.
Here come the Bulldogs. This ground has become like a second home for them in finals football. An amazing record from this club, and they come here with 6 straight wins under their belts. They're fast becoming a juggernaut in this year's final series. They've got the scalps of St George and North Sydney. Now we turn our attention back to the Knights. And here cheers from the crowds. This, of course, the scene of their finest triumph. ARL Grand Final day last year when they defeated Manly in extraordinary circumstances. Steve Clark, the referee for this one. Ian Parnaby is our video referee, and we're underway week 3 of the Sportstat Final Series, and it is sudden death. And the Chief is back and gets the first touch and runs headlong into Darren Britt. Start with Peden over the 20-metre line. Corey Hughes went low.
Well, Andrew, that's how keen they are to get Paul Harrigan involved. It's the first time that I can remember this season that Butterfield has not brought the football back from the kick-off. He was the third-man tackle. That's Badeiros, 32 out from his own line.
Mentioned both Butterfield and Badeiros. They're playing wounded today. Butterfield a broken thumb, and Badeiros remarkable recovery from a dislocated shoulder last week against the Roosters. As Silva gets his first touch for Canterbury. I understand Badeiros plenty of scrapping and has had a painkiller as well. As Harrigan is up in defence, the Bulldogs on their own 30-metre line. And Hetherington, only with young Talau. Look at his record since he made his debut at this ground in round 17. He thinks first-grade football's easy. He's had nothing but success as Silva is back with it. And the Bulldogs with Talau now over halfway. And with support, he was just a fraction late to look to his right. Hughes made the tackle. Now 40 metres out, Silva up in the line. And Corey Hughes pushes along. A kick deep for Hughes to get back. That's a big effort from the Knights fullback. He had made the previous tackle and then got back to his position.
Yeah, that is super play from Mark Hughes. It was a very good tackle because Talau's very talented. Put a big left foot step on him. He cut him down and then made that second effort to get back there and to retrieve that football.
So the Knights coming out of their own danger zone, and Harrigan slipped one out the back. A little risky, one would suggest, at that part of the field. Pinchinelli to ground 15 out. Head-to-head, level at 6 apiece from 12 clashes. And the one occasion they played this year, that was a win to the Newcastle Knights, 12-4. And now Andrew Johns kicking from inside the 30. He's got the distance for a 40-20, but not quite the direction, and headed back infield. Halligan the man for the Bulldogs. Running across field, Shields was first man there and makes the tackle alongside him, Brett Grogan.
It's still a pretty good result for Newcastle because they struggled to get out of their own danger area. Pretty good run from Peter. Shields picked up a nice 6 or 7 metres, but it needed to be a long kick from Johns, and that's what he got.
Here's the skipper for Canterbury. Brett taken to ground by Butterfield. They're on their own 40. And now Price pushing along with Ralph, and they keep it going for Hughes. The dummy was fallen for by Johns, and then he got past the centre. Gidley. So Canterbury, some promising signs for them early. 2 line breaks. And back with Ralph. Moody came rushing out of marker. Missed his man. Last tackle for the Bulldogs. Hetherington with it. 25 out. And back with Corey Hughes. All the chasers are onside. Price is leading the charge for Canterbury. It comes down and dropped by Hughes. That is Mark Hughes and fielded by Jason Hetherington.
Well, he said it came down off a Canterbury player. Crowd doesn't like it. Referee Stephen Clark. Some really missed tackles by the Newcastle side. Very uncharacteristic of them. And it did come back off the Stephen Price hand. Now a penalty goes to Newcastle, and they need it.
Wants play to continue quickly. He gathered the ball in and then had his line finder before even referee Stephen Clark had turned around. Harrigan is hammered again. Hetherington up with Grimaldi. And Johns across with Butterfield. 2 battering rams. Centre field. As Ralph was over the top. To keep it going to the left. Matthew Johns, another under an injury cloud for Peter. 25 metres out and cut down by Silva. It was a try-saver. Now it's the Knights' turn to apply the pressure. Andrew Johns, the mastermind, away for Gidley. Left fend and then put down by Moody. Johns isn't happy with it either.
Newcastle need to be patient.
Deep to the left is Matthew Johns on this scrum. He's standing back a good 15 metres from the scrum, and then there's another 15 all the way back to Brett Grogan. Grogan so far back out of that shot. You just sure as now Johns. Up for Matthew, his brother. 5 metres out. Now Grogan gets his chance. Stepping. Grogan for the try line and gets there. The Knights. Glimpses of 98 form. And 97 recaptured here. 4-0. Grogan try. Knights over the Bulldogs.
So the number 4 for the Knights punishes the number 4 from Canterbury for that mistake right there. Scrum was set. They stood Brett Grogan very, very wide on the left-hand side. Andrew Johns took out from the base of the scrum himself, trying to create an overlap. He reacted pretty well, Canterbury, although they did start to come in. But Brett Grogan had a lot to do here. He had to beat 3 players. He's tremendous on his feet, and the Canterbury players were at 6s and 7s. That's just reward because they have had plenty of opportunities. They finally got the ball over the line.
Newcastle created the space with what they did at the scrum base, but gee, you know, that's awful Canterbury defence. They had plenty of time to stop him and plenty of bodies there, but he got down low and he drove hard with his legs. A good effort.
It'll be a big lift if he can land this one from 11 in from touch. Johns is successful. That could set the trend. The Knights off to a flyer. 8 gone. They lead the Bulldogs 6-0. Oh, the Bulldogs are 15 metres out. Martini getting his first touch. He was the match-winning try scorer against St George a fortnight ago. Ritt taking the ground right in front of the Newcastle post. Now Hetherington and Hughes. Some nice quick hands there for Norton. Doing a pivot roll that time. Talau to ground in the Johns tackle. 5 out. And from dummy half they go. Lester. He gets in goal and is held up. An anxious look up at the referee. It'll be a Canterbury scrum feed.
Well, that's a marvellous tackle down low. I think it's Peter Shields because he caught the markers out. Andrew Johns went the wrong way. Grogan is there. Shields. They roll him over. Great combination by the second rower and the centre to stop Leicester from getting the ball down.
Doing this one so far. Few mistakes, but some exciting football. Canterbury scrum win. And Newcastle penalised for breaking early. As long as Clark is consistent on that ruling. Differential penalty, of course.
Take it back as far as you like if you want.
Hetherington contemplating the tap. Now gets it back underway. In fact, we've got a false start. And here we go again. Different runner this time. It's Brett. 5 out. Shields with a tackle. Ends up only a metre short of the line. The jumper over the head, still able to go forward. Here goes Hetherington. Hetherington, that's on the line. Butterfield is over the top. Clark goes to the video referee.
Mate, I want to just check to see. I think he might have grounded the ball short of the line. The ball has ended up on the line, but there's a suggestion.
Looks
he might
that
have even lost it.
Clark has some suspicion of a hint of a double movement from Jason Hetherington. There's a little nod from him to his teammates.
Once again, the Newcastle market play, it's been a bit dusty all day. But Hetherington also gets low. It's on his back. Ball comes down. Any part of the ball on the line, but hard to tell from that angle. Maybe it is short. When it first lobbed on the ground, that ball just needs to get on any part of that white line. Hard to tell, Snork. Looked like a second effort maybe with the push forward.
Yeah, if I was forced to make the decision, glad I'm not, I'd say it's a double movement. I think he comes down short. I think there's the ball touches, and then it's rolled over onto the line.
I don't think it's a try for a start, and it just depends on what the final decision is. And he's well.
Got the double movement.
Yep, Captain Snork's done it again. Nostradamus, he's called it. Genius.
Shields bumping away from one and offloading. Dangerous signs for the doggies. Matthew Johns, long ball, and fielded by Fletcher. Now Gidley, 10 out. Fletcher passing for Moody. He hasn't had the happiest of afternoons so far. He was happy just to go to ground with the ball in his hands that time. Fletcher was wonderful off the bench in the grand final last year. Now Badderas from dummy half. He turns in the tackle. Hetherington was able to hang on low. Martini over the top. Matthew Johns, the kick off the outside of the boot. The Bulldogs haven't forced it, and it's over the dead ball line. Andrew Johns was the player rushing through on Matthew's kick.
Exciting stuff there from Newcastle Knights. Canterbury's defence the last 6 weeks has been terrific, and you're seeing another example of it here. Desperation defence, because Newcastle, they can really test it. The Johns boys are really in their own element today, Pete.
Well, Paul, you mentioned the word patience, and when you see kicks into the in-goal area like that, I think it's demonstration of patience. They go for the bomb, but they're quite happy to put pressure on, hopefully maybe get a try through a mistake, but they also get the ball back at the end of it.
Reardon now out there for Canterbury in 19. Look at that statistic, time in possession. The Knights, plenty of ball. And up by 6, Andrew Johns. The ball by Shields, it bounced up into his arms. Now Gidley, step from 5 metres out, there's Moody. Moody, he redeems himself, Jason Moody, with a try in that right corner. There's been plenty of traffic coming Daryl Halligan's way, and Moody's got one up on him. 10-0 to the Knights.
Tremendous work from Newcastle. This is their 3rd set of 6 in a row. A side with their skill level is always going to be tough to beat. Tremendous step took him back inside, Matthew Gidley. He beat them all ends up. A simple one for Jason Moody. Might have picked up a bit of a leg injury there. Could see the Canterbury player land on it. Let's have a look who Matthew Gidley stands up out wide, because he put a tremendous move on. I think it's Martini.
Yeah, there was a slight hint of obstruction there by Pinchinelli, I think, on Corey Hughes, but referee let it go. There wasn't much in it, and he can finish on Moody.
The Bulldogs were down 12-0 against St George a fortnight ago and won. And they do it as well in week 3 of the finals. It's 10-0 at the moment. The kick from Johns, 24 metres back. Right on the sideline, Johns is going to swing it across the face. So unsuccessful with that one. 1 from 2 for Andrew Johns. It's 10-0 here at the stadium. Oh, it's 25 minutes out. Gidley, little fumble at dummy half, and then Johns away for Peden. Backslammed in the tackle of Glenn Hughes. 14 on his back, playing 5'8". Clements up with Andrew Johns. Ignites again, 10 metres out, Johns striding through, getting the pass for Hughes. Oh, what a try for Newcastle. Andrew Johns from his bag of tricks. Can I say, Felix the Cat had nothing on this bloke. He is a magician of the highest order.
Look, he's just a magnificent player. No surprise at all that he's been voted as the player of the year. He's just done it all himself. He goes through. There was a bit of interference on the eventual try scorer. Fortunately, he was released before the ball found Mark Hughes. But there's nothing on here. Andrew Johns, who does play like an extra forward, he steps inside, powers through the tackle. I think it's Darren Britt. Tracks 2 defenders, and then Hughes beats a couple. That's heartbreaking for Canterbury, because they have defended fairly well, but to concede what they would say is a soft try, not far out from half-time, it's an awful blow.
Well, I've got nothing to say.
Well, that's probably the best part about the try.
Absolutely. You can't. What else can you say? There's no more superlatives in my dictionary.
Well, you had nothing to say, but you still raved on for a while, so...
Make one up. Johns this kick. 16-0 lead. That is what is ahead of Canterbury now. 16-0. The Knights over the Bulldogs, 29 gone. The Bulldogs are with it, 15 short of halfway. And Silva. Now Matthew Ryan is out there. He's lost the ball in the tackle. It's touch judge's call. And who's ruled that it was reefed away by Grogan. A pregnant pause there on the far side of the field.
Canterbury, a bit of momentum now. They've got to put something on the scoreboard before the break, and this is a great opportunity. I can't remember when they were down at this end of the field with 6 tackles up their sleeve. They've got 5 left, 32 out. This is where they need to be patient. They can't put a try on in this set of 6, get it into the in-goal area.
Wasn't too smart from Grogan, was it, on the replay? It was blatant. And Corey Hughes away for Glenn, his brother, 20 metres out. He gets the pass away, Hughes. But Badderas was across in cover. And Corey, to deal with their Christian names more than the surnames now, as Canterbury are 11 metres out. Grimaldi's in a dummy half. Up with Corey Hughes. Then away for Brett, he's recovered. Price is the man with a short pass. Last tackle. 10 out, Silva. There could be numbers here for Canterbury. Glenn Hughes has a run and gets there. Straight through. Glenn Hughes at pivot for the Bulldogs. He makes his impact. A try scorer in the grand final in '95, the other side of the ground. Now he comes up with one here, 16-4.
And that could prove crucial. They were slow getting up. They've done well for a while, Newcastle. As we freeze it there, you can see all the players for Newcastle going across. This is actually the try scorer. The defenders are more worried about what's happening out wide, and you'll see Badderas, who is that man coming across, miss the tackle. Hughes goes through, just a little bit too slow in coming, but everyone was going across. Nobody was coming out to meet the attacking players.
Yeah, it looked like a lack of communication there from the inside and outside men on Glenn Hughes, and he's done well. He's a fine player, Hughes. Gets over the line well. So Canterbury, Snork was saying on there, did they what? And they're back in the match, no doubt about it.
Out, Halligan's kick. It's getting away, but it is there. Not right over the black dot, but 2 points all the same. 10 points now, the margin.
Last weekend we saw Andrew Johns take a field goal not far out from half-time when there wasn't much on. I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't scored in the 5, that maybe he just looks for 1 point.
85 metres out. It's within his range.
Well, it'll just be a positive end to the first half.
Lomax tackled 25 metres out. It was Matthew Johns who landed the field goal that basically got them in the grand final last year. Gidley passing from Moody. One of their 3 try scorers in this first half. Tackled by Halligan. Butterfield was the man at dummy half. A diving pass up for Andrew Johns. Over the top to Moody. Trying to step Halligan. Passes inside. Good scramble from the Bulldogs on Butterfield.
Andrew Johns trying a shot down the blind side. It was almost a grand final finish. Play that one. They went back to the blind and found Albert. On the other hand, Teak, maybe John said, I won't take the field goal because when I did last week, we got beaten the second half. So maybe that's why he didn't.
Corey Hughes. Just the scurry from the scrum base. A young halfback inside the final 60 seconds of this first half. There's been a few appeals from Hetherington the last couple of tackles that Newcastle have been slow to roll away. Impression from up here, Newcastle have played a faster game. Here's Robert Relf, taken the ground by Gidley. And now Grimaldi. Passing for Thompson. And on, Fletcher. And Lomax there. Nice tackle with Canterbury from inside that 40. So one last play for Newcastle in this first half. Well handled by Hughes. Both fullbacks have been good today. Hughes. And spinning in the tackle, taking the ground. Grimaldi it was, just outside their 40, Andrew Johns. Just another run from Johns and another offload for his brother Matthew. Brilliant flick out the back for Lomax. And Moody there, short of halfway. Tallow. Not much ground game, but it was impressive to watch. Gidley, last play of the half. Hops given a jump from Gidley and tackled by Halligan. Good half of finals football. No smiles on the Canterbury bench. They trail by 10. 3 tries to 1. It's the final 40 minutes for one of these two teams. Coming up, a look across the Newcastle side for the start of this second half. Don't see the chief. We'll hear from Steve Roach shortly. As Newcastle kick off for only the second time today. And Grimaldi is the player. Short of the 20-metre line. Sudden death today, as it will be tomorrow when the Storm take on the Broncos here at the Sydney Football Stadium. And Canterbury outside their own 20 with Darren Britt. And quickly was Butterfield and Badderas. Two of the wounded brigade in this Newcastle side. That could have a bearing on the match yet. How some of the injured players hold up for the 80 minutes. Some loose play and Canterbury come away with it. Martini right on halfway. And Hetherington passing up for Price. He changes the course of his run. Went back in field and then back for Silva. Some dancing from Rod Silva. Last it is now for Canterbury. They are 35 metres out from the Knights line. Corey Hughes providing many of the kicks today. This is a high one for Hughes at the back, Mark Hughes, and he fields it. Only a metre out from his own goal line. So they survive the first onslaught from Canterbury in this half. Let's hear from Steve Rhodes. What did you learn at half-time, Blocker?
Yeah, well, for the Newcastle Knights, the opportunities are there, but we're trying to force the issue. He said, keep concentrating on our kicking game. We're causing the Dogs plenty of problems. We've really got to lift and push ourselves in the second half to show that the rest of the sides in the semi-finals that we can go on to it. We died last week in the second half. Down the sideline with me, Craig Polamauna. Craig, not a bad effort from the Doggies in the first half, but they're making a lot of errors coming out of their own end.
Yeah, mate, the Bulls were a bit disappointed in themselves trying to change the game plan coming into the finals. The last 2 weeks we've been playing really solid football, but today they've been popping a bit too much ball, and it hasn't worked to our advantage. So folks have just asked them to go back to the original game plan, and hopefully they can come away with it.
Yeah, the fact that Newcastle died in the second half last week against Sydney City, was that mentioned at half-time by Steve Folkes?
Yeah, it was definitely mentioned, but they're not going to die on their own, mate. The Bulls are going to have to work really hard to get it out of them and make them tire, so that's what they've got in front of them.
Yeah, I thought one of the things that they did well in the semi-finals up to date was their defence. It just hasn't happened today. They've ball-watched Andrew Johns a little bit.
Yeah, well, Newcastle forwards are going forward, so it makes it a lot easier for their halves to go forward and do what they want, and that's what's happening.
Well, Craig, thanks very much for your time, and hopefully if the Doggies get through, you'll be back next week.
Well, I'll be back in the grand final if we make that.
Good on you, mate. Thanks.
Thanks, fellas. And Rudder has tackled. He's rarely touched the ball. There's a tip from Polamauna. Not confident about playing next week. Right for the grand final. That back injury even more serious than first thought. And Butterfield charging back. And that's good work from the veteran front row, getting back for an early hit up after the kick. And now the Knights get that roll on. Turn inside their own half. Sean Rudder suddenly hungry for work, got the second touch, and it's back with Shields, and Rudder gets a third hold of the ball, and then passes, decides he's a ball player. Canterbury come up with it. Early turnover. Doggies with Norton. Another try here. Suddenly opens the door right up for Canterbury, and well, Newcastle, well, how could they not think of last week? Hetherington's a dummy half. 25 metres out from the Knights line. It's with Brett, the captain. He looked to put in a big stride as he got to the defensive line. Hanging on in the tackle was Clements, a former Bulldog. They come with Norton. Second man play. Ralph is standing wide for the Dogs. He was looking to offload inside. Leicester then loses it. The knock-on is against Canterbury. And the scrum is 15 metres out from the Newcastle line. Andrew Johns feeding and winning. Grogan scored the first try of the afternoon. It was a strong effort. He had to be 2 or 3 on his way to the in goal. Now Peter. Hetherington is low in the tackle. His count is now into the 20s in defence. Jason Hetherington. Grogan just slightly hampered there in the walk back. Now Newcastle have come up with an error. There's a ball thrown from Peter Shields. Now there's punches. Shields and Ralph. This all started with Shields throwing the ball at Robert Ralph. He wasn't about, well, he threw leather of a different kind if he had the gloves on. And I think he landed a few on the big one.
Well, yeah, it was exciting stuff. Peter Shields threw the best straight right you've seen in a long time. Still mouthing off.
Just tell me what happened first. Just tell me what happened. Oh, go away, go away, go away. I don't want you yet. Just go away. Hey, what happened?
There must have been words said because the Newcastle bloke thrown the ball.
Yeah.
Newcastle bloke was the aggressor.
Okay. Peter Shields. Robert Ralph. Listen. Just have a listen.
Well, we've had the ball thrown at each other. There were words said. The Canterbury player was walking away when the Newcastle players come back at him. All right,
Okay.
and there were punches thrown by the Newcastle player.
Newcastle, the aggressor. Okay, Robert, come here. Listen, fellas, I know it's a big game, it's a tough game. Let's get the rubbish out. We're not going to tolerate any of this sort of stuff. It's up to you, blokes. Give the skippers, clean it up, right? It's a penalty to Canterbury here.
Canterbury, they are going to come at them in this second half. It's going to be a big effort from both sides.
Halligan from 32 metres out. It's on its way from Daryl Halligan, and there's another 2. They draw a little closer. All the momentum with Canterbury early in this second half. There is 10 minutes gone.
Well, Newcastle a mile offside there. Nowhere near back to 10.
Oh dear. Well, this is 40 metres out. Andrew Johns rushes in. He's the standing captain at the moment. I can still see the number of 10 of Harrigan on the bench.
You ask him, you tell him. I'm happy to let it flow.
Makes the penalty count 7-3 to Canterbury. It's becoming a problem, and I'm extremely surprised that they have kicked the touch here. It's obviously a sign of confidence. They think that they're going better than just scoring 2 points.
Halligan may have had some hesitation. Perhaps he didn't think he could kick it dead if he did miss.
51 minutes gone up. You take that chance. It's going to put you 6 behind.
Here's Hetherington, 11 metres out from the Newcastle line. Corey Hughes attacking the right side. Corey Hughes. Clark had to move quickly to get out of the road, basically. 5 out. Silver is a dummy half. Now, this is slow clearing. Oh, someone's headed to the bin here. There's trouble, is there? And there is. And it's Shields. Shields is off to the sin bin. They're down to 12. It's 3 straight penalties for lying on the man on the tackle. Well, what do you do this time? Let's hear the caution. Andrew Johns coming out.
Going a bit high. Okay.
Well, I'd like to have a look.
Okay, mate, he's just lying on top of him. He leaves me. Johns, all you got to do is talk to him and leave me no choice.
I'd like to see whether Peter Shields did make an effort to get off the player.
It looked like they were all caught up and tangled up with each other, and they couldn't go anywhere. But this time Halligan having a shot at goal. An easier attempt.
This is the tackle. Fletcher, Reef, and there's Shields trying to roll him on his back. Loses balance. Well, I can't argue with the penalty, that's for sure. And I suppose with the string of penalties for that kind of infringement, the sin bin comes into play.
3 and 2 minutes of the same kind, and you got to say from the replay, Shields was making very little effort to clear away. Halligan kicking from 18 metres out. Halligan has 3 from 3, and it's just a converted try now, the difference. 16-10 here at the stadium. Thompson is held up just short of halfway, and Ralph. Back with Stone. Oh, big tackle on Stone. Diving in with Shields.
Last tackle.
Corey Hughes not going to kick that time. Norton decides to run it. Then back for Glenn Hughes, an ankle tap. Hughes is 20 metres out. The Dogs are going to square it up. The Dogs are going to square it up. Corey Hughes has scored for Canterbury. It's right underneath the black dot. It is 16-14. And Halligan, it banged it over in his sleep.
He won't have any problems with this one, Daryl Halligan. And the Bulldogs, they've run it on the last. I think probably the first time they have. The one missed tackle, just a little bit slow in coming across, was Glenn Grief. And Corey Hughes backing up superbly on the inside. It's good to see. His last touch wasn't a good one, but that one, well, it could be a crucial one. Set up by his brother Glenn. Lovely ball back on the inside. Corey Hughes knows about 10 metres out that he's getting home because the smile came to the face.
The Bulldogs, and a lovely ball once again from Travis Norton. The inside pass from him was a cracker. And the Newcastle Knights, they're too tired. They just couldn't get there. There was no cover defence coming over. Desperation stuff for the Knights, but they couldn't produce.
Hughes, his 3rd try of the year, but none more important than that one. And now Halligan, he reached 1,600 career points with his last shot. He now joins Jason Taylor, 4th on the all-time list. 16 all, 10 to go here at the stadium. There's an offload for Grimaldi. Then away, and a bit of a goose step from Thompson.
Andrew, I just hope that this game is not decided by a penalty. It's been a better game than that.
And Taylor, 35 metres out. Butterfield hangs on. I'm looking for who might provide this field goal. I wouldn't be surprised if Halligan gets himself closer to the action.
Well, Corey Hughes kicked one against North Sydney, I think, as well, so he's another man. Norton gets a good ball onto Martini.
Martini is 20 metres out. 15 now. He scored the match-winning try 2 weeks ago. Norton passing up with Corey Hughes. They're right in centre field now with Stone. 10 metres out. Halligan is in position on the 20. It comes back for Halligan. 18 metres out. A ricochet deflected blow. Halligan unsuccessful.
And a good chase there by the Newcastle side. I think it's Peden. Billy Peden put the pressure on Halligan.
Well, it's actually, did that brush the post? Did that hit the post?
It might have even been deflected by Newcastle.
But if it had been deflected by Newcastle, it would have been a...
No, it still would have counted.
It would have been a restart different to a 20-metre tap butt, I think, wouldn't it? They wouldn't have got the ball if they touched it. I thought it brushed the post.
Well, Butterfield playing it for Johns. We'll just continue with the play. So much happening. Brogan taken by Martini. Taylor had a few problems early for Canterbury. He's bounced back, and Martini's been very consistent through this game. Peden, talking about consistent. Peden has tackled short of halfway. Newcastle will not get a shot at field goal this time round. John's kick, needing a result. Headed for the sideline from Johns. This one is there. No. Picked up. Well, this is interesting. Leicester has touched the ball. The touch judge may call off Canterbury if Leicester picked it up. Let's watch where his feet are. Gee, it's close.
No, it's hit the line first.
Touch the line first. So a Canterbury scrum feed.
Well, Newcastle, they can hardly even walk through the scrum. That's how tired they are.
And we should point out that if it is all locked up after 80 minutes, we would play 10 minutes each way, extra time. We still don't have a result at the end of that extra 20 minutes as Talau gets outside.
Here goes Willie Talau. The junior Kiwi is over the 40 off a Matthew Ryan pass. Silva, they stop him. Halligan, 40 metres out, and it comes back with Thompson. He bounces away. Then they pass up for Leicester. Brilliant defence from Newcastle. Rudder, 20 metres out. Canterbury wanting to play the ball. Clark had his whistle to the mouth, and then it comes back for Norton. 15 metres out, taking the ground in the tackle of Grief. They will get another chance for field goal, although maybe they can sniff a try.
Halligan's pointing to the post and he's already moved in. He shouldn't wait for the last. He should take it now.
He's centre field, 20 metres out. It's Grimaldi. Passes back for Silva. They take it away from the post. Ralph almost losing control. Taking the ground in the tackle. Here he comes again. Back for Halligan. They rush up at him. Darrell can't get it in. Corey Hughes is with it. And tackled 5 metres out. Last again. Halligan. He'll get a second chance. It's lost. The ball is lost. It'll be a Newcastle ball.
How did they hang on? How did they hang on, Newcastle? Canterbury have messed it up. He's put the ball down, and it's an ordinary play, the ball.
I'm not sure what the decision was there.
No, I don't know what he ruled.
Easy from up here, and in hindsight, Halligan, there was 4 players rushing at him to stop the field goal. If he has a sudden change of mind, just one pass, they score. They were all up there trying to charge him down. They did the job.
I did start to say if it goes to extra time, Andrew, we do play that 10 each way. If we don't have a result at the end of the extra 20, then it's first point scorer after that.
There's Andrew Johns. Where's Darren Albert? Matthew Johns. 30 metres out. They're running the opposite direction this year, Newcastle. As it comes back with Shields. Shields pulls one out, a kick.
What's he done?
Leicester fields it on the 40-metre line. Well, in 5 tackles, they can probably work again within field goal range. Here goes Silva. Rocket Rod, as Fatty called him.
That's the worst play I've seen all season.
Morgan. And back for Darren Britt. He knows what's required here, Britt. Just about the most experienced player in the Canterbury side. They're going to work centre field again. Stone charges. That's a big run from Troy Stone. 20 metres out now.
Halligan's there again, but they're going. Yes, they've gone to him. Still hasn't got time. Norton.
Travis Norton. It's still early in the tackle count. Passes off the deck. A little bit of panic in some of the passes. They don't need to do that. Leicester, he comes back in field. And again they reach that 20-metre line.
That's the 4th tackle.
It's all centred at one play. Field goal. Set it up. Loose ball on the bounce to Britt. Big Edgar Britt's able to offload and bounces back favourably for Silva. Then on the outside for Talau. He kicks for the corner. Newcastle have covered up with Moody. And he's ruled that Moody has forced it. A line dropout.
Unbelievable. A great comeback today by the Canterbury side, and you nearly thought that Talau got there on that. Put it through, and Moody gets there first. In the end, I think Halligan gave up the idea of kicking a field goal. He had 47 opportunities to throw it to him.
This is just a minor point, Fatty, but I don't think he did force it. Sure, he forced it with his leg, but that doesn't count. He knocked it back, rolled over the ball, then picked it up. I think he was entitled to keep going. And now Canterbury, they will get another shot at field goal. Final 60 seconds of regulation time. Nice.
Darrell's setting himself up again, Darrell Halligan. He's watching the clock.
I'd be giving it to Corey Hughes.
This is identical to last year, and I think both field goals were kicked from this end as well. They were. Silva, 20 metres out, passes flat to Britt. Round the corner to Silva. He steps. Hughes makes the tackle with Piccinelli. Corey Hughes a dummy half. Goes Corey Hughes' tackle. The goal post is a help on that occasion. Now Canterbury, 15 seconds. 5 seconds from dummy half.
Lost it.
Oh, Grimaldi. He looks up. Video referee's call. 80 minutes is up. And Grimaldi lost the football. Grimaldi lost it.
Oh, no.
What happened? Shields is there in defence.
Well, all the Newcastle players raced off to stop Halligan kicking.
Sterlo, it's not the look of a bloke who scored the match-winning try looking at his face.
No.
Speak to me, Fatty, speak to me.
I got nothing to say. You can't believe it, can you?
This will be no try. Red light, no try, full time. Here we go. 80 minutes gone. The first extra time of this year's final series at 16 all. Canterbury, the only side to get a shot at field goal, and it was wide. Although in the helter-skelter of those last few minutes, we're still not sure if it brushed the post. Newcastle are with it. We've hardly seen the ball in the second half. They haven't scored a point since the 28th minute. That'd probably be roughly the time they received their last penalty. Shields gets to the 40-metre line.
They may surprise me, Andrew, but I just look at Newcastle and I don't see 20 minutes in them.
Matthew Johns gets just Canterbury side of halfway. Now Peden, back for Andrew. He kicks, and it's a good one. He'll want it to pull up. The bounce comes up, and Halligan decides to attack the football. He comes back from in goal, Daryl Halligan. Hasn't the focus been on him the last 10 minutes? And he's taken the ground. Perhaps Canterbury should look at an alternative. Take some of the pressure away. Take some of the attention away from Halligan.
Oh, he's been good, Gavin Lester, today. Plenty of those 15, 20, 30-metre runs by the winger. Plenty of speed.
We've got Stephen Price down on halfway. He's been there a couple of tackles, getting some attention.
Grimaldi, almost the match winner in regulation time. Stone has picked up. Stone is down, and Johns is the man for number 7. With a terrific tackle. Has called time off with Price injured. Look at this tackle. Not for the first time in the match either.
And I think he's almost playing on memory, Andrew Johns. He's not 100%. But look at him. He's up, clapping, jumping around.
Steve Roach, sideline.
Well, Stephen Clark's got to do something about his 10 metres. This has really spoilt the game, in my opinion. He's just been up for both sides all day. They've been inside the 10 metres all game.
And Block, your mind goes back to 89, the grand final, when extra time happens here at the stadium.
Yeah, well, I was cooling my heels, mate. I tell you, I didn't even watch it.
So here's Hughes, over the 30-metre line. Alongside him was Ciro. And Canberra rallied in extra time. And now Moody gets it to halfway. They're good metres. It's the furthest they've been upfield early in a tackle count, well, since the first half. And followed up by Badeiras. Promising rush now for Newcastle. Andrew Johns. I don't know whether a field goal's enough to get you home this time far out. It comes loose for Grogan. 15 metres out from the line. Put down. Norton is there with Ryan. Well, that was almost a second tackle from Ryan that time. Allowed to continue with Rudder. Got to take some pressure off the forwards. Last tackle. Who's in position here for the Knights? It's Matthew Johns. He kicked it last year. It comes back for Mark Hughes. They're flat-footed, the Knights. Batted on by Andrew Johns. Then Peden puts the kick in. But the original deflection was called forward. Change over the result. And Canterbury on their own 20.
Yeah, I think Newcastle realise that a field goal probably won't be enough in this extra time. The most important thing is field position.
So Britt offloading, then Hughes, then Talau. Has he been strong in attack? And he got over the 30-metre line that time. Such a promising talent, Willie Talau. Only made his debut in round 17. He was here at the stadium. Ralph around the corner, fashioned that pass. Stone stretches out, then passes for Martini. They're 40 metres out, and Newcastle now down to 12. They've got a man down in back play, it may be Butterfield. As they come across field, inside comes the ball. Canterbury have lost it. Thompson is there, scoops it up off the deck. Knock on against the blue and whites.
Well, I'm not sure about the knock on.
I think he's got a forward pass, Paul.
Looked like it was passed backwards. The inside ball to Matt Ryan. He flicks it back.
pretty sure you'll find that his ruling was forward pass.
Butterfield's only just getting to this scrum now. He was the player down.
He had some cramps. What about this Willie Talau? He's like a mini Malmaninga, isn't he? He's a real good player.
He's 11th first grade game. Now Newcastle rush down that left side. Need to stay in the field of play. Rudder achieves that goal. Just inside their own half. Peter back and lost by Badderas. Gets to the bouncing ball. Grimaldi was sweating on it. Punchinelli passes up. Fletcher tries a step. Right on halfway. Collected in the tackle of Thompson. Scooped up that time by Badderas. Andrew Johns with a chip. He's done everything this afternoon. Johns gets another boot to it. Canterbury cover up. Robert Ralph was back there. Hughes made the tackle. I'm about to criticise Andrew Johns. He's had such a wonderful match. And he almost got that chip to come off. Canterbury. Away from their own 30-metre zone with Reardon. Heavy scrapping on that right thigh of Steve Reardon. Oh, there's a high tackle on Ryan.
Call off the shoulder by the referee. I think that Canterbury very, very dangerous out of dummy half, and also the inside pass against a tiring defence. It's a good ploy as Talau taken towards the sideline. Last tackle against the Bulldogs.
And he made the tackle, Gidley. He's a player I'd be looking for at the moment for Newcastle. There's a high ball. Punchinelli's back for Newcastle. Hughes has done it again. Mark Hughes at the back. Oh, 10 out of 10 for this young fullback. Robbie O'Davis was the man here on grand final day last year. He was player of the match then. Hughes, if they win, may not be far off it. Andrew Johns has been outstanding, but Hughes has been faultless. Look at that. And made ground after the take as well. I was looking at Vic Punchinelli back. He just wondered what he was doing back there. And now Shields over halfway, 6'7". And fallen in the tackle of Reardon. Again, they were slow to clear. Matthew Johns. He steps. Matthew Johns is almost through. Line in defence. This is the last tackle for the Knights. It comes for Andrew Johns. Long range from Andrew Johns. And he's wide. Oh, plenty of power off the boot of Johns. But unsuccessful. 6 gone in extra time.
He has kicked them from long range before. Still a little early, but I mean, you take anything now. 14 to go. All these players digging deep into their reserves, looking at each other. What have we got left, fellas? Let's go. All 26 out there.
Matthew Johns is down at the moment for Newcastle on the Bulldogs 40-metre line. The Silva comes across field. They're looking for the big play from a Silva or Johns or Gidley. Canterbury are with it on their own 30. It's a battle at the moment that's being fought out between both 20-metre lines. The ball is lost. Now, who was that towed through by? He's going to rule a knock on here against Canterbury. Newcastle will have a scrum feed. 35 metres out from the Canterbury line. Martini has come up with the error.
An unusual one too. Let's have a look at it. Grief gets him. Oh yeah, he dropped it and then kicked it back. So it was the hit from Grief that forced the mistake.
7 gone in the first 10 of extra time.
We haven't heard the Newcastle fans in voice for a little while, but they're starting to sing now.
Step the blindside here. Johns goes the open with Gidley. Only Moody on his outside. Gidley running and getting past the first line. That was Talau. 25 out. Goes to ground. Did he lose it as he gets to his feet? Gidley almost lost it. Peden with it. Spinning in the tackle. And to ground he goes. Now across with Andrew Johns. They're 20 metres out. The inside runners. They haven't found too many holes today. Newcastle. Badderas from dummy half. Will-o'-the-wisp. On the ground by Reardon. 15 out. Matthew Johns from dummy half. Good stepping. Matthew Johns back for Hughes. Hughes turns. Andrew Johns. Johns kicks. Now the chase. Getting back is Halligan. Halligan is the hero again for Canterbury. Line drop out.
He's like the Rock. Rock Halligan, they call him out there. Easy as a like. A lovely little kick. Newcastle not dead. They desperately want this try. Johns looks out there. There's some space. Go the Rock.
He didn't get a particularly good bounce right at the end too. He kept his cool, Darryl Halligan. Certainly didn't bounce. Well, it wasn't too many good ones at the time.
And drop out comes. Extra time. It is sudden death. One side will make their exit, and we won't leave here until we've got a winner. Here is Fletcher. 25 metres out from the Canterbury line. Lights are on at the stadium. Andrew Johns up for grief. Home for dinner, but I don't mind watching this. Here's Gidley passing up for Andrew Johns. It comes wide there with Peden. He's 20 metres out. Peden driven back and able to offload. Lomax is with it. David Lomax. Well, there would be an unlikely hero. Stephen Jackson-like for Canberra in 89. Lomax taking the ground. 12 metres out. And again, a similarity. They're running to the same end. Here goes Matthew Johns, the kick. It ricochets. Norton gets back for Canterbury and loses the ball, but forced it. Another line drop out.
Yeah, they still had a couple up their sleeve. Just under pressure and make split-second decisions. I do think that they take the field goal now with time almost gone. They try and get in position for Johns. I know we're getting a bit monotonous with that, but at the death of the first 10 minutes, to go in with the lead, psychologically it'll be a lift.
No penalties, extra time in the first 9 minutes. Canterbury taking plenty of seconds with this restart. Clock was stopped. Norton line dropout. Down the centre. It'll be a difficult bounce here for Newcastle. Fielded well by Andrew Johns. Back for Butterfield. Butterfield over the 30-metre line. He goes. Well, they set it up for the start of this set of 6, and that's all they'll have time for. Before the completion of the first 10, they will swap ends. It comes up for Peden. He is tackled 25 metres out from the Canterbury line. They attack the right side. And in fact, it's Badderas making big metres. Badderas! Stephen Price, the last line of defence. They're 10 out. It comes for Andrew Johns a step. He steps away from another, then gets the kick in. Silva comes across. Here's trouble. Silva on the ground, 15 metres out. Last seconds of this first period of extra time. Canterbury, they'll be happy to take this tackle. And to ground they go. Martini in the Fletcher tackle. End of the first 10. And still, it is 16 all here at the stadium. Hope you're enjoying this one on the Wide World of Sports Super September in Rugby League. And extra time is the name of the game here in sudden death. 16 all at the end of 80 minutes. They have played 10 of extra time. No change to that score. They've swapped ends and restarted. Taylor running across field. Punchinelli was the tackler. Newcastle would love a mistake from the Bulldogs. Ryan offloading. There's been no let-up in the offloads. Canterbury still willing to pass as Brett is held up on the 30. Lomax was the tackler. Now Corey Hughes, they can't with the left with Stone. He's been outstanding off the bench, Troy Stone. Look at him here, over the 40. A hard man to get down. And Corey Hughes passing up with Reardon. 4 metres made, almost to halfway. Last tackle. What kick will they supply? It's Hughes. He's kicking across field. Hughes, that's Mark at the back from the Glenn Hughes kick. Mark Hughes has stumbled. I can't remember a mistake from this young bloke today. He's fielded everything. Away with Moody. The fence comes up at Moody as he runs straight across field.
And Newcastle had the best of that first 10 minutes extra time. I wonder whether that will turn around and Canterbury will be the dominant team in this 10. Don't forget, it's all locked up after 20 minutes. First point scorer after that.
Just had a glance up at some of the tackle counts. There's half a dozen in the 30s. Newcastle, last play, inside their own half. They look to Andrew Johns again. He gets a deep kick in. Silva has turned around, but the chase will need to be good on Silva. Silva just inside the dead ball line. Silva now has to get back to the field of play, and he does that. Silva's away and over the 10-metre line. He's beaten a third, then a fourth. Rocket Rod Silva over the 40-metre line, then back for Leicester, and Hughes has done it. Oh, what can you say about that? Hughes got across in defence. There's no fullback at home. Canterbury attack. Oh, now there's trouble. They're on the ropes, the Knights. And Ryan didn't pass at first instance. It comes back for Norton. And back with Ryan. They pass wide. Here it comes. Talau. Talau is down. The tackle by Gidley. Oh, this is amazing stuff. Canterbury attacking with Stone. They're 5 out. In 4 tackles, they've made 95 metres, make that 105. Silva started it. Hughes now with it. Looking the pass back, Corey Hughes. They come across. Norton stabs last line again. Oh, do I say it again? Hughes was there.
Oh, they've got to score.
It comes up. Swing and a dummy from Brett. Britt has scored! The captain, the skipper, has scored for Canterbury. The deadlock is broken here at the stadium. And look at Andrew Johns. Oh, the shades of Manly on the Newcastle faces.
It had to come, didn't it? What a run. Rod Silva. He's beaten some very tight defence, kept going. Beat another one, he beats another one. All over the place, the defence. They finally got Gavin Lester, a great tackle by Hughes. And from then on, the Newcastle defence was always struggling. Talau, he was pulled down. Abee's out. Nearly went into touch, and then the big skipper, Darren Edgar Brett, puts a swivel and a half pike on and grounds the ball right next to the goalpost. Good on you, Skip.
You've got to think that that's got to be the winner. Certainly the bench. I don't know if they believe that, but
That was Glenn Groove on the bench. Margin's going to be 6. Halligan lands it. Oh, blocker. A front rower. Scores the try that could win the match.
Oh, what a set of 6 tackles. It was a full 100 metres they had to do. He did enormously well to be there, Darren Britt. Spins out of the tackle. This is the shot I like. Watch him look up as if to say, is it me? Yes, it is.
The number 8 went in the frame. From the Canterbury captain. Settle down block. That's shades of Terry Lamb back in '95 when they went on to win the premiership. The captain coming good with a 4-pointer. Can they eat up the time? 5.5 minutes remaining. They lead by 6. And if a field goal wasn't going to win it before, it certainly will now. If they land another, the ARL premiers of last year say goodbye for 98.
6 again.
There's an appeal from Badderas. He looked at the referee. It was like a dying man's plea, looking up. And now they run again, this Canterbury side rolling on. Grimaldi. He came close in regulation time to sealing the match. Able to keep it going. Here's Britt, the try-scoring machine. Fielded on the bounce by Stone. There's more trouble as Norton passes back in field. Then from Corey Hughes to Silva. Silva's going to get there. Silva's there. Newcastle are gone. And Canterbury, they march on. It is a juggernaut now for the Bulldogs.
And very fitting that Rod Silva gets the try here, the one that is definitely the sealer. He's been superb again this afternoon. Canterbury, well, they endured the first 10 minutes of extra time, and it has turned out that they've dominated the last 10. It's taken them a long time to get to the lead. They're well and truly there now, and Rod Silva reaches out despite Brett Grogan's protesting that he was held up. There's little doubt that the number 1, who's just injected himself at will, gets across. Again, Darren Britt, the second phase play from the big fella's been tremendous.
What a great performance by the Canterbury side. When you consider they were 16-0 down, 16-0, and they're winning this game running away, hard held. A brilliant performance, gutsy in every facet of the game.
I've been at the binoculars on the Newcastle players and in goal. It's disbelief. They are struggling to come to terms that they're making their exit in week 3 of the finals. Halligan's kick, he just rubs it in. Halligan, he's a sadist. Daryl Halligan, 28-16, Parramatta awaits Canterbury next weekend, and a grand final awaits one of those 2 teams. Canterbury come wide with their flyer Halligan. Tackled on the 40-metre line. The captain. Most valuable try he has scored in his long career, over 10 years at Canterbury. Last tackle with the Dogs. Coming back with Corey Hughes. And a kick straight down centre field, fielded by Mark Hughes. He can hold his head high. Taken in the tackle. This is sudden death football. It's pressure, and the 2 fullbacks under high balls and rubber kicks, all sorts of kicks, all variety of kicks. They've handled them all. Peden drops the ball out wide. Canterbury on the turnover with Robert Relf.
And this is 7 in a row for Canterbury now, and you've got to say, in retrospect, they've all been sudden death. They had to win games at the end of the season to make the top 10. As it turned out, if they'd have lost any of those last couple of games, they wouldn't have been there. every week they've had to come up with the performance, and today has been one of their finest.
A little unfairly, I'll ask you right now, Sturlo, for a tip. Peter, 30 seconds remaining. Canterbury or Parramatta next weekend. Here's Silver. Ball is lost.
All I know, Andrew, it sets up a contest between two arch rivals that have had plenty of fierce battles over the last 15 years, but it's really been quite a while since either of those sides had a chance to win a premiership.
A shame Homebush Stadium isn't open next weekend. They'd pack it out. Announced this week that the grand final in Origin is headed there next year. Butterfield, Newcastle, last play, and held as Matthew Johns on halfway. Siren will sound and exit Newcastle. Canterbury claim another scalp. First it was St George, then it was North Sydney. Now they make the inscription on the dressing room wall of the Newcastle Knights. Canterbury through to play Parramatta, 28-16 at the end of extra time.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports in partnership with the National